Hey everyone, today it's Q&A number... Shalom everybody, and welcome to Deut and Psalm. Well, we haven't done one of these Q&A videos for a while, so I thought I'd do a quick one today, and I think this is number 7. I had to delete a lot of the older Q&A videos since we stopped following the New Testament, but I'm pretty sure that this is number 7. Somebody asked me just last week, or maybe it was the week before, why I hadn't done any of these Q&A videos for a long time, and I guess I just got in the habit of answering people's questions and replying directly to them, but forgetting to compile some of the more frequently asked or interesting ones for videos like this. So anyway, let's get into some questions. So up first, we have this question. I just rewatched your Satan video on YouTube, and you said that the demons don't exist in the Old Testament. I found 2 classes of demons, one called Sirim in Leviticus 17:7, and the other one called Shadim in both Deuteronomy 32 and Psalm 106. More than likely it's my ignorance of Hebrew, but what are your thoughts on the 3 instances of these 2 words and their meaning? I agree with your video, but these 2 words kind of baffle me. First of all, great question. The word that was translated into demons from Leviticus 17:7 in some Bibles comes from the Hebrew word Sair. Sair is described as shaggy, goat, kid, or a satyr. Kind of like a goat man. Think Baphomet. It's not real, of course, but it's an idol worshipped a long time ago, but a very similar one is worshipped today. I'm sure we've all heard the news stories recently about the Baphomet statues that were popping up in certain places, and you can see from the graphic I'm going to put up here that this Baphomet is exactly that, a goat man or a Sair. And as for the Hebrew word shade you mentioned occurring in both Deuteronomy and Psalms, let's read the verse from Psalms 106:37. And they slaughtered their sons and daughters to demons. That word for demons is the Hebrew shade, as you stated, which means devils. This is most likely referring to Molech, or a similar idol of the Canaanites. In fact, it sounds exactly like Molech when we read the verse that follows that last verse in Psalms 106:38. And they shed innocent blood, the blood of their sons and daughters, whom they offered to the idols of Canaan, and the land was defiled with blood. So there you go. Those Hebrew words meant idols and not evil spirit beings. We get the word demon from the Greek daimon. The original word daimon in Greek does not carry negative connotations. It's not malevolent at all. The ancient Greek word daimon denotes a spirit or a divine power. However, we know that Elohim is the only divine power, whereas the Greeks had many, many gods. So the Tanakh must be referring to the idols of man that people believe represent their gods in these cases. And for those who may have not seen it, please see this video that was mentioned in his question entitled The Truth About Satan. This will show you the truth about Satan, or the devil, and demons, or so-called fallen angels. I'm going to put a link to that video below in the description. Okay, next question. Do you believe that the Tanakh is truth? I need to do a full-length video someday in regards to this particular question, as a lot of people have asked me this exact question. But my short reply, is this. As I look around the world, I see physical proof every day of Elohim's hand in his creation, in the way he moves his people, and so on and so forth. So I do not doubt Elohim's existence. And we have so many confirmations using ancient dated artifacts in excavations with names in places, in wells, in cities that prove the Tanakh to be an extremely accurate source of history. There's also many agnostic scientists who also acknowledge this. They can't help but see how it matches. Many recently discovered tombs have inscriptions and dates on them from thousands of years ago, and this information helped match the Shemitah and the Jubilee cycles, and that's how we got the timing back, as it was lost for many hundreds, if not thousands, of years. Whether we read the ancient texts from Qumran, also known as the Dead Sea Scrolls, or other texts that are found in the Nahal Hever caves, we can see that the Tanakh, or the parts that we can match it to from some of the old fragments, are very accurate with what we have today. During the course of years and many, many translations of scriptures later, we can see certain words morphed a little into different names, titles, and verb tenses, but with some research, we can figure out the intent and meaning of the original Hebrew or Aramaic texts. So, since I do not doubt Elohim's existence, I do not doubt the authenticity of the Tanakh. The study of the Hebrew language has brought us much deeper into the truth and has revealed much more to us about the word of Elohim. That's a very short answer, but that's kind of where I'm going to end it for this video. Next question. Hey there, Scott. My husband and I were discussing the Old Testament this morning and how Christianity says we are not to judge. I told him that Yahweh says we are to judge righteously based on living by his commands, not on appearances. This led to us being told to warn others to turn back to his ways, which led us to being held accountable for someone that we did not turn from their wicked ways. So here's my question. If we do not turn someone from their ways that are not righteous and their blood is on our hands, then isn't this kind of like taking their sins on us, and couldn't that be considered dying for another man's sins? I ask because we know he said the fathers won't die for the sons and vice versa, so we are a little baffled now. You know, I sure get a lot of great questions from you guys, and these are great. Okay. We need to remember that Yahweh was talking to Ezekiel. This is the part that they're referencing here. Ezekiel was a prophet. And the scriptural definition of a prophet is one who speaks the words of Elohim to the people. There can be somewhat of a future telling thing going on with it, but most of the time it's just bringing the words to the people. Just like when Elohim in Exodus told Moses that he was going to make Moses an Elohim to Pharaoh. He wasn't making him a god. And he said that Aharon, Moses' brother, was going to be his prophet. Okay, well, he was going to bring the words in to Pharaoh for Moses because Moses said, I'm slow of speech. So, one who is a prophet of Elohim speaks the word of Elohim. The prophets, they were responsible for teaching people the Torah without adding to or subtracting from it. Most people didn't have access to Torah scrolls like we have access. I don't know how many Bibles are in our house, probably a dozen. A lot of people have a lot of Bibles, but not everybody had that. There was no printing presses. They all had to be handwritten out. That would take a long time, and it was very expensive. So they didn't have access to Torah scrolls back in those times to read them for themselves, what to do or what not to do. But we have to ask ourselves this, with what Elohim told Ezekiel, did Elohim witness people sinning and seeing that Ezekiel was not warning other people about their actions? So was Elohim planning on holding Ezekiel accountable for this? It almost seems like it does, because Elohim told Ezekiel that if he warned the people and they turned from their sin, that he would deliver his being. So we cannot die to make atonement for the sins of others. But a prophet that is appointed by Elohim to bring his Torah to the people, and if he fails to warn them, Elohim may hold him accountable in some way. Look how Moses lost getting into the promised land just by striking the rock to get water from it instead of speaking to it to esteem Elohim in the eyes of the people, just like Elohim commanded him. That's because if Elohim gives one of his prophets a message or a sign, they better follow it to the exact word. Moses did not. What he did instead failed to esteem Elohim in the eyes of the people, and that is a bad mistake. Okay, next question. Got a question for you. If no one is supposed to work for you on the Sabbath, do you shut off your power on the Sabbath and turn it back on after the Sabbath? The power plant that is providing the electric to keep your AC going is operating on the Sabbath. People are working for you on the Sabbath. Just curious. Okay, well, that is something that is out of our control. We don't work, nor anyone within our gates on Shabbat, nor do we hire people to work for us for our financial benefit on Shabbat or for any other reason. That would be causing others to sin on our behalf, which would be causing us to sin if we're making somebody else sin for our benefit, right? So if we shut off our power, would there still be people working out at the power plant? Of course there would be. Do you stop your mailman from bringing your mail on the Sabbath? Do you shut off your city water, disconnect your internet and cable TV? We choose to obey not to work on the Shabbat, but sadly most in this world do not. And I know some people who won't light a gas stove on the Sabbath or would want their doorbell rang as giving it a little push would create a spark, and they think that would violate the do not kindle a fire on the Shabbat commandment, but that's not what that commandment means. And I'm just going to leave it at that for today. Yet these very same people will hop in their car and they'll go drive to an assembly, forgetting about all the constant spark and fire they're creating in the engines of their vehicles. Not to mention, what if they have gas furnaces at home or gas water heaters that use flames? Are they shutting all those off on the Sabbath? See what I mean? We try our best to rest and keep the day set apart the best we can. We do no work, nor our animals or anyone within our gates. We rest. Okay, up next is in Isaiah 9:6. Who are they talking about here? Well, let's read it. Isaiah 9:6. For a child shall be born unto us, a son shall be given to us, and the rule is on his shoulder. And his name is called Wonder, Counselor, Strong El, Father of Continuity, Prince of Peace. Okay, it tells us right here the rule is on his shoulder. So this is speaking of a king. This is speaking of King Hezekiah. The name Hezekiah in Hebrew means strong El or mighty God. Also, the verb tenses are translated wrong. It says, for a child shall be born to us, a son shall be given to us, but that's wrong. How it should read in Isaiah 9:6 is, for a child has been born to us, a son has been given unto us, and the rule is on his shoulder. So this child was already born at this point in time. This is not referring to some sort of future Messiah. I've had a lot of requests to do a video on this topic, so it's in the works about this part of Isaiah as well. I hope to get to that fairly soon. You know, I wish I had enough time to handle all these video requests. But great questions, everyone. Keep them coming. Well, this is our last video of 2018. This is also our video number 200, I believe, which is a lot. We had to delete quite a few of the older videos due to the change of our beliefs, so you only see about 80 of them up on our channel now. We also reached and exceeded over 1/3 views, so thanks for watching, everyone. We appreciate all of your comments and your support. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. We'd appreciate it. There's something a little different with the credits at the end of this video, so stick around for that. We have people contacting us from all over the world in the dispersion who have come out of Messianic idolatry, and it's wonderful to hear from so many people who are truly Yisrael from all around the earth. Besides the United States, we have heard from others in Australia, Austria, Barbados, Belgium, Belize, Botswana, Brazil, Cambodia, Canada, China, Egypt, Finland, Germany, Guyana, Jamaica, Japan, India, Indonesia, Ireland, Israel, Jordan, Malaysia, Mexico, Netherlands, New Zealand, Nigeria, Norway, Philippines, Romania, Russia, Scandinavia, Scotland, Singapore, Somalia, South Africa, South America, St. Lucia, Sweden, Thailand, Trinidad and Tobago, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, U.S. Virgin Islands, Western Europe, and former Eastern Europe. Hallelujah, that is quite a list. Well, shalom to all who are Yisrael and are scattered worldwide in the dispersion. Everybody be blessed and have a wonderful day.